Cowboys are an ornery bunch. Just to tell how ornery they are, you have to look at what they do for fun and what they find to be funny. And it can't be really any fun at all unless you put somebody in the hospital or jail or both. My story today is about Curly and the skunk. Down at the Tar Box Ranch, northeast of Border, they let the 3 cowboys that work there, plus the guy's goofy nephew, about 14 years old, all go to Border on Saturday afternoon to get barbed wire and blocks of salt. They got over there, they got the barbed wire, they got the salt, and they decided that they needed a cool beer or two to get them back home. So they stopped at a bar. Well, the kid couldn't go inside with them, so they left him out there parked under a shade tree, and they went in to have a cool one. Well, one cool one turned into 2, and the barmaid girl, she had good-looking hooters, and it turned into 3 or 4 beers, and the next thing you know, it's getting along toward dark. So they carry a hamburger and a Coke out to the kid, and they all head home. Well, they're going over a bunch of little hills out there and up and down, and Curly decides he needs to process some of the beer. He's riding in the back with the kid, so he stands up and starts watering the highway. Well, they popped over a little hill and spotted a skunk in the road, and they aren't sure whether they swerved to run over it or miss it, but at any rate it threw Curly out and he hit right on top of the skunk in the road. The kid said the funniest thing he ever saw was old Curly and the skunk turning flip-flops down the road fighting with each other. He beat on the top of the cab and got the other 2 to stop after about a quarter mile and told them Curly had fell out of the pickup. Well, they decided they really ought to go back and get him, so they turn around and head back just as fast as that old pickup would go, going up and down over these little hills like that. They come over one of them, and there's Curly standing in the middle of the road down there. Well, their driving skill wasn't the best in the world considering how much beer they'd had, and they nearly run over him, and he dives into the brush alongside the road. Well, they get it shut down, turn around, and here they come back. And they come over a little hill, and there's Curly out there waving his arms again. And they nearly hit him again, and back in the weeds he goes in the brush. Well, they got slowed down the next time, come back down over there, and they couldn't find him. Thought they was trying to kill him, and he was hiding in the bushes. And they walked up and down the road calling his name, and finally got him to come out. And he was in pretty bad shape, all scraped up there all over and full of thorns and stickers and cactus all stuck in him. So they decided they better ought to take him to the hospital. So they take him into the hospital, and the doctors there took one smell of him. Says, we aren't bringing him in here in the emergency room. We'll treat him sitting in the back of a pickup out there in the parking lot. So they went over and figured out he didn't have anything broken. So they dug all the stickers out of him, the gravel that he had ground up in him and everything like that, and mopped him with mercurochrome and sent him home. Well, his 2 buddies in the front seat, they wouldn't let him in the front because he stunk so bad, and made him ride in the back, and they finally get back to the ranch. It's probably about 10 o'clock at night then. His wife's still up waiting for him, wondering where he was. So between them, they're going to take care of their old buddy. So he goes in the house, and he's having kind of a sinking spell, and he takes off straight for the bedroom. So they tell his wife, says, look, Carly got thrown off by a bad horse out there and drug all over and threw a skunk bin. And we took him to the hospital, and the doctor says he doesn't have anything broken, but he might have a concussion. So don't let him go to sleep tonight, or he might not wake up. They said the next morning they went down to the barn, and there he sat on a bale of hay, his eyes all bloodshot and scabbed from top to bottom. He says, that's the craziest woman I ever saw. Says she wasn't mad at me or anything, but she kept giving me coffee and wouldn't let me go to sleep.